Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll just give it a minute or two for everyone to jump on and get their tech sorted. Don't worry, we won't be able to see or hear you, but you will be able to see your presenters today, Jack and Anna. I'm just going to post in some housekeeping information into the chat. Feel free to say hello. So my name's Claire, I'm from the GA Australia team. I'm currently based in Sydney, Australia. We'd love to see where everyone is joining us from. We usually do get an international audience, so feel free to open up your chat box at the bottom of your screen and say hello and where you're streaming from right now. Awesome, so I see a few messages coming through. So if you want to make sure everyone can see your message in the chat as well, we do have the function to all panelists and attendees. So if you make sure that's selected there, everyone in the chat can see your message. Amazing. So we've got Melbourne, Sydney, we've got Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome. Hopefully not too late there. Los Angeles as well. Welcome. Great. I'll just give it maybe one more minute and then we'll kick off this session. Awesome. Victoria in there, Philippines, Singapore. Amazing. Adelaide, Sydney too. Great. If you've just joined, feel free to open up the chat box, say hello there and mention your name, say hello and where you're streaming from. Cool. I think we might get started, and apologies for the airplane noise in the background if you can hear that. But welcome everyone to this session, how to produce great video content on a budget with Clipchamp, and a special mention to Clipchamp for collaborating on this session today. I'd firstly like to say GA Australia acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples as the first Australians and traditional custodians of the land where we live, learn and work, and we pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. And especially on this land today that I sit, I'm on the Gadigal land of the Eora Nation. Just a little bit about General Assembly and who we are. So we're a global tech education company empowering people to pursue the careers they love in tech. So that's from data science, digital marketing, UX, product management. We teach all those courses as well as host these free community events. So if you want any more information about us, head to the website ga.co. But how everyone can participate today. So I'm sure you're all familiar with Zoom, but as you're watching, we love for you to engage and ask as many questions as possible. So we have the chat function there that you're already in. So feel free to pop any questions to fellow attendees there. If you have any questions for me, I can help you out there too. But if you have any questions today for our presenters, please do use the Q&A function. So you'll see that at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to as many of those as we can at the end of the session. And lastly, we'd love for you to share on our Instagram. So we do have a competition right now, but I'd also like to mention as well that Clipchamp, amazing people, have decided to give everyone on the session a 1-month free subscription to business platform platinum membership. Sorry, I got that right. Business platform subscription for 1 month. So we'll send all the details in the follow-up email, but that's for everyone on this session today. You're going to receive that. So that's amazing. And thank you, Clipchamp. And this is how everyone can be in the draw to win a $50 voucher from GA. So feel free to open up Instagram, tag us on your story at General Assembly Oz and Z, and Clipchamp at Clipchamp as well, and we'll pick one lucky winner to receive a $50 voucher from us. So get open Instagram, show us how you're learning. We want to see it. And lastly, this session is recorded, so you will receive a copy of that in the follow-up as well. But I don't want to take any more time now. I'm going to pass it over to your speakers today. So we have Anna and Jack from Clipchamp, but I'll now pass it over to Anna. So take it away, and I hope everyone enjoys the session. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everyone. This is Anna here. Hopefully you can see my screen. So I'm Anna G. I'm head of product at Clipchamp, and also Cleo very nicely introduced. I've also got my co-worker Jack Hallahan here. He's a product manager on my team. He looks after the content and import-export team here at Clipchamp. So Clipchamp is an online video editor that empowers anyone to tell stories worth sharing. We're really excited to partner with General Assembly today and take you through this beginner's masterclass on how you can create authentic video content on a budget. So in this event, you'll learn the key practices to produce video. You'll understand the fundamental equipment necessary for your video project, how you can create a basic storyboard, which will help guide you through any production, how to apply elements which can add pace to videos such as pictures, audio, and captioning, how to get the most out of using Clipchamp for your video needs as well. Now, the evolution of video is changing the way we communicate online, and a change that has been accelerated by the global pandemic. And video is no longer just one piece of an overall marketing plan, but it's central to your outreach and campaign efforts. And people love stories, and there's really no better way to tell a great story than video. I'm sure you can name at least 3 favorite movies that you've watched. Now, videos can give a faceless business that, beautiful human touch and can make potential customers feel like they know and can trust you. And it's more competitive than ever to market your business today in social media and search engines. But with a relevant video, you can circumvent even the toughest competition. If you have a physical product or a product that's relatively complex to explain, having a video means that the likelihood of your purchase can increase up to 95%. Now, 10 years ago, video was difficult and really expensive to create, but the great thing today is it's actually really easy, and you can do it on next to no budget, and we'll show you how today. We'll start by taking a look at some of the most popular and useful video formats you can create for your business. I'll cover these formats as the most useful and common. So the first format would be promotional videos, and then educational videos, and also sales videos or one-on-one videos. Now, promotional videos are basically the most universal type of video you can create for your business. It's applicable for any type of business, product, event, or even just for brand awareness. This is basically an advertisement with intent to promote your business to your prospective customers. The objective is to create a return on investment you're making. This means when you invest $100 into making and placing the ad, you want to make at least $100 back, if not more. Now, in the old TV world, if you're old enough to remember, television, I haven't really watched TV for the last 5 years of my life. Ads were constrained by time since they had to be made for 15 or 30-second slots. So old TV advertisement used to gloss over the details. Nowadays, video ads are mostly made for online in, social media settings, which technically no longer have these, 30-second time constraints, since most social media platforms support up to hours of video ads. The challenge, however, now becomes audience attention. I'm sure you've used social media and you've probably experienced, scrolling endlessly for something interesting to read or watch. So the ads nowadays need to be as entertaining as the type of content that you're seeing in your social media feed. They need to delight the audience enough to keep their attention, or they'll simply keep scrolling. So they can't just be, selling, right? And the thing is, these ads don't need to be high production like the ones that you're seeing on the screen, like the Pepsi and the Spotifys of the world. They can be quite low budget as long as they're interesting enough. And we'll show you how to tell interesting stories, even if you've never done this before. Now, the second type of video content you should consider is educational videos. Now, you might cringe at the thought of having to educate someone, but this one is surprisingly easy to do. You're probably an expert in your area and have genuine value to add for your prospects. And video is a great way to establish your business as a trustworthy leader in your industry. The example you're looking at right now is someone who's basically talking about how to use Figma, which is a design tool, and he's simply sharing his screen and his webcam and just going through the tool. Right, and you can build a repository of these type of how-to videos, and they can be short, like 1 to 2 minutes long, and they answer some of the most frequently asked questions you come across in your industry. You can respond to trending topics, and you can provide your opinions and solutions, or you can explain difficult jargons that people outside of the industry might not understand, or just guide viewers through particularly challenging processes. Say, for example, you might be in a home renovation business. You can explain, how to pick the right paint. And don't think about this as you're giving away trade secrets. You're not. You're actually just investing in authority status in your industry. This gives you exposure and it gives you perceived thought leadership, which then adds brand value to your business. And this is something you can't buy easily with advertising. There is, however, a catch to the strategy. It does require to be really committed and consistent. 1 to 2 videos won't be enough, and you'll often only start to see return on investment after consistently creating and publishing a whole library of content. Now, the third and last type of video I'm going to talk about are sales videos. This example you're looking at here is created by a co-worker of ours, Seamus. So he created this for any Clipchamp prospects. As you can see, it's basically a greeting and demonstration video. It's great for showcasing your service, your products, and your own personality. It allows you to make a personal connection with the prospective customer without you having to travel to them, talk to them in person, having to spend that time. And it's incredibly effective and really authentic if done right. And again, it's super easy to make. It's a simple screen and webcam recording. And if it makes sense, you can actually personalize it for the prospect as well. So here, like Seamus could have personalized it by having the prospect's name at the beginning of the video. Now that we've gone through these 3 types of great video formats, let's talk about the type of equipment you'll need. So it used to be really expensive because the type of expert equipment you actually need used to be quite expensive. They were designed for experts and they actually needed years and years of training to know how to use them properly. But in the last decade or so, the gap between consumer and professional equipment has grown a lot smaller. And we'll start with cameras. So cameras really depends on what you are shooting for. And there's a lot of different types of cameras you can buy, but mobile phones are by far the most popular type of cameras on the planet. Now, most phone cameras today are actually good enough for creating content. You just have to ensure that your phones support high definition mode. So if your phone was purchased in the last 5 years, it will most definitely support high definition. Now, you probably have heard of the term 4K. 4K videos is actually not really required if you're creating videos for online. It's actually counterproductive for online for like YouTube, social, or website, since by the time the videos are published, a high definition is really indistinguishable from 4K. Yet 4K would mean larger file sizes and it would take longer to edit and upload. Now, the next important aspect is lighting. While natural lighting would be absolutely fantastic, sometimes you may not get access to it because you're either shooting the footage indoors or it might be a sunset or the weather is not fantastic. So if under those situations, you can actually get a really cheap and effective ring light for anywhere between 10 to 50 bucks from Kmart or Amazon. So on the left, you'll see an example where improper lighting is in use, and you can see that's dull and dark. And on the right, this is where proper lighting, and this is really just a simple ring lighting is in use. And the difference is massive. The right footage looks really professional. And yeah, so that makes a big difference. Now, the next important element is microphone. And this part is going to be really counterintuitive, but audio quality is even more important than video quality when creating video content. You can sort of get away with somewhat crappy video footage and effects, but crappy audio will guarantee that your audience will be disengaged. Now, instead of talking through the microphone part, I'll let Jack demonstrate some affordable setup options for lighting and microphone in this recording here. Hopefully you can actually hear the recording properly.
Hi everyone, Jack from ClipChamp here. I'm recording this video with my inbuilt webcam and microphone in the laptop, and it's a pretty simple setup. You might be familiar with this from every single Zoom meeting that you've ever attended, but I'm going to do a comparison with this versus some slightly better equipment, and we can see just how much better quality you can get for very little money. Hi everyone, I'm recording this take with my upgraded setup. So the biggest change is that I'm using my iPhone camera instead of my built-in webcam. And the quality of phone cameras these days is so good that if you want high quality video, that's the way to go. As well as that, I've got it set up on a makeshift selfie stick. A tripod here would be even better to get perfect stable video, but I don't have one, so I'm just making do with what I can find. I've also got a cheap gaming microphone. The built-in microphone in my MacBook is actually pretty good, but I do think that having a dedicated microphone, especially in some cases, if your laptop microphone is not so good, that can help a bit, but you don't need anything expensive there. And the other difference here is that I've got decent lighting. So I've got a $9 Kmart light ring that I bought online, but any nice bright white light shining directly onto your face is going to help just make the quality a bit better, look a bit more professional. So hopefully you can pick it. Hopefully you can see that the quality this time is a little bit higher, a little bit more professional. And it's pretty interesting what you can do with just a little bit of money and a little bit of time thinking about your setup.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. Now that we've gone through all of the different formats, what I wanted to share with you is what sort of tools and equipment you'll actually need in order to record your screen and record your webcam. So I'll show you this in ClipChamp. So this is the ClipChamp interface. And in order to create a new video, all you have to do is just to click create a new video here. And you've got to always remember to name your files. I'm just going to name this one the GA workshop. Now you've got a bunch of different types of menus here on the left-hand side bar. But in order to record, all you have to do is just click on this little button here called Record and Create. And I'll just be capturing the screen recording today. So I'll just click on screen recording. And you can see the big red button down here. So I'll just click on the red button. And here's a bit of a life hack for you all. So when you're recording your screen, you've got multiple different options. You can either record the entire screen, the window, or the Chrome tab. I usually prefer to just record my Chrome tab because what it does is you'll record the tab and the tab only. And that means that if you accidentally navigate to a different tab, and this actually applies if you're in like a Zoom call or any sort of like online course, they won't see other tabs that you're navigating to. Anyway, so let's get started. I'm gonna click on this share here and the recording starts. So let's get on to the General Assembly website. And what we'll do today is I'll just show you all of the amazing events General Assembly has at your disposal. So let's go and have a look at all of the awesome workshops and events. Look at all of that. Oh, that is amazing. So we're obviously in one of those events right now, but we've got, product marketing online, and we have free intro to coding classes, marketing week, and what it's really like being a founder. Well, that sounds really relevant. So let's click on this. And it's in partnership with Stone and Chalk. That's amazing. And this event is happening on the 22nd of June, which is tomorrow. So if you haven't registered and you want to, I would highly encourage you to do that. So let's stop recording now, and all you have to do is just click on the stop button here and the recording starts. So let's get on to and I'll just click the add button. So you probably heard that it was playing back to you through the audio just then, and I'll click on add to timeline. So what you're looking at right here that my mouse is going over is the timeline. Now, when you first look at this timeline inside the editor, you're probably going to be a little bit intimidated, but don't be intimidated. What the timeline really is you can think of it like a big picture, and the picture just moves, on the time. So let me just play this back to you so you get a sense of what I'm talking about. Yeah, and the recording starts. So let's get on to the General Assembly website, and what we'll do today is I'll just show you all of the amazing events General Assembly has. So you get the picture. So what I want to do is, I know that my video really started around here somewhere. I'll just show you around here somewhere. So I want to cut out the first 5 seconds of the video, because that part was when I was really setting things up. So in order to do that, all I have to do is get the scrubber, which is this white part here, to this middle part of the clip, and then I'm going to click on the scissors button. And the funny analogy is, back in the old days when film was actually like physical, they used to take a scissors and literally cut the film, and that's why like the scissors thing exists. So I'm just going to snip the clip, and now it's in 2, and I just grab the part that I don't want, and I just click delete, and it actually deletes the part that I don't want. And now you've learned how to actually cut out parts of a video that you don't want. So in order to make this video a little bit more interesting, I'm going to add a bit of an intro to it. So to add the intro, I'm just going to click on the text section. And we've got some beautiful intros that's already made for you. Let's have a look. I'll just add this one here, and I'll just drag and drop this into the beginning of the video. And as you can see, all of the animation and stuff are done. I'll just show you all of the amazing. And with this, it's fully customizable. So as you can see, normally I'd probably add a logo, maybe the General Assembly logo, but we don't have that prepared here, so I'll just remove that. And you can actually customize all of the colors. I won't go into too much details today, but let's just change some of the colors to make it a little bit nicer. And you can actually change all of this on the fly. Awesome. So that's all done. And before we go and finish this video up, I just wanted to add a bit of background music. So this is what I recommend for these type of how-to videos. They tend to be quite simple to make, but adding a little bit of a background music to it makes it a little bit more professional. And I love these type of lo-fi, relaxing stock music in the background. And by the way, we've got, I think, 300,000 audio track that you can find in the stock library or for use. And this particular one here is actually completely free to use as well. So I've just dragged it into the video itself. Just going to let it load. Won't take very long. And once it loads in, I'm just going to, again, grab the audio and cut it to the length of the video. And again, using the scissors, and just delete the part of the audio that's we don't need. And now we've got a 50-second video that has a background track to it. And we don't want the music to be so loud that it's overbearingly like overtaking the actual track of me talking. So what I normally do is I take that background music to about 20% volume. So then it's just nicely floating in the background. Let's play this back and see how it plays. What we'll do today is I'll just show you all of the amazing events General Assembly has at your disposal. So let's go and have a look at all of the awesome workshops and events. Look at all of that. Oh, that is amazing. So there you go. And then all you have to do is just click export the video, which takes seconds to do, and you're all done. now I'll hand it over to Jack to show you how to tell a fantastic story with video.
Thank you, Anna. I love the music. Can you stop sharing so I can share mine? Sorry, everyone. Some technical challenges.
Yeah, actually, I don't know why, but oh, there we go. Sorry.
All right, no worries. We're off. So I'll share mine now. There we go. Okay. So I want to tell everyone today a little bit about how to tell stories. And storytelling is a really important skill when it comes to video. And I think it helps to think of every type of video as a story that you're telling. And the reason that storytelling is such a useful skill is because you're dealing with the dimension of time. So if you're used to creating, static designs or writing stuff down, then you haven't really dealt with that dimension of time before. And that's when the art of storytelling can really make videos much more powerful. So the three elements that I wanted to discuss today are the hero, your main character, the central person in the video that your viewers care about. Secondly, the structure or the shape of your story. And finally, how to achieve an emotional hook that will engage and connect with your viewers. But before we jump into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about storyboarding. I would recommend everyone, whenever you're starting a video project, to start with a storyboard. This is how you kind of like measure twice, cut once, that kind of thing. It's all about planning and getting things right before you go and capture your footage and realize later on that you haven't got what you needed. So you can do it like this man here is doing it. This is the classic way with boxes on a piece of paper and sketching with some notes. You can just write stuff down. You really don't need to sketch it out if you don't feel confident sketching. And I would even recommend trying doing this with Post-it notes. Because Post-its allow you to move stuff around really easily and they're pretty lightweight. You can throw them away if something's not working. But definitely this is a really great starting point. Another thing when you're thinking about the script and the structure for your video is that you're not starting from scratch. There's only so many different stories that you can tell. It's just the details of the content that you're putting in there that make it unique. Excuse me. So you can look for inspiration online and borrow the structures of stories that you know. Or copy videos that you've seen before. And as long as you have the right content in there, the shape of the story can be repeated. And in fact, at Clipchamp, we do have a library of templates for different use cases ready to use that give you kind of that structure as a starting point that you then drop your content in. And I'll show you in a little bit just how that works. So I wanted to talk about narrative structure around two different types of central character. So every story has to have a hero. That's who your viewer connects with, who they care about. And I've got two different types to share. The first one is to have your product as the hero. Now, your product is not a person, so how can it be the main character? Well, when you take this approach, it's all about sort of bringing personality and life to the product and allowing it to have such a personality that the viewer can connect emotionally with it. This works really well if you have a very strong brand, maybe a consumer product, something like that. So I want to show a demo from an example video from TikTok advertising TikTok. It's not a video from TikTok. So I love that example from TikTok because it really does form an emotional connection. You know, they introduce the platform, but they make it sound so much like a fun, exciting, creative person that you want to get to know, right? So when you take this approach, it's all about thinking about your product or your service or platform and its personality. So for you, it might be that it's super luxurious or maybe environmentally friendly, organic, all those sort of things. Whatever makes it unique and special, that's what you focus on. It's not just about describing it. You've got to go beyond that. The second thing you can do is to use Fomo, which you've probably heard of before, but if you haven't, that stands for the fear of missing out. So that's what is the viewer not going to get if they don't take action and, you know, purchase or sign up for a demo, whatever it is you want them to do. So with the TikTok example, it was a little subtle, but they definitely make you feel like if you're not on the platform seeing all these amazing videos, then you are going to miss out. And finally, to create the structure of these videos, it's actually pretty simple because the story is unfinished. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Basically, we start off with the setup. We introduce the character, which is the platform or product. And then we bring it to a climax with that emotional hook. You know, we get the viewer to care, and then it brings it to a climax, asking them to take action. But then the resolution, that's not there. So the video essentially is an unfinished story. And what we're doing is asking the viewer to take action to finish the story. So inspire them to take the next step and imagine what their life will be like with your product in it. So you kind of leave it hanging. It's like a cliffhanger, which makes them want to take action. It can be quite powerful. And to make this authentic, you know, these videos do fall flat if they don't come from an authentic place. But this is all about knowing your product, the brand, and your customer. So if you know your customer and speak their language, then you'll be able to create video content that really gets to what they care about, and so they can understand it and relate to it. The other thing here is you've got to tell a story that is true, even if it's also aspirational. So, you know, you're saying something that's true now, but also talks about where you want to go. But when the message is not coming from a true place, then you get this misalignment. So say a petrol company talking about how environmentally friendly they are, like it always just leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. It's not quite right. So if you tell us a true story, then it will be authentic. And if you know your brand, then it will really help. So the next sort of story that I want to talk about is when you have your customer as the hero. And this works really well for B2B videos. So videos where you're talking to business users, but you can also use it in other contexts as well for consumer products, for example. And it has this really predictable structure that I think as soon as I describe it, you'll recognize it and you'll think, okay, I've seen this video before, right? But the content is what's important, like I said before. It doesn't matter that the structure is repeated over and over again. Basically, if you have the right content in there, people will care. So to create a video like this can be, by the way, this can be a promo video, or it can be an educational video, or it can be a sales video. You can take these stories and adapt them to all those different use cases that Anna discussed. First of all, you introduce the customer to themselves, or you introduce someone who's like the customer that they can relate with, right? So this is Pam. She's just like you, she's works in the same sort of company that you work in, or something like that, something relatable. The second thing is you bring the story to a climax with the challenges that character faces. So you show the viewer how hard their life is right now, the pain points that they have, and that struggle that they have. And then finally, you resolve the story by introducing your product and showing that happy ending, essentially, where your product comes in and saves the day. So like I said, you probably recognize this sort of story arc from some videos that you've seen before. To make this sort of video authentic, it's all about knowing those challenges that your customer faces. And if your customer is the viewer, that's your target audience. If you can address those challenges and talk to them in a very genuine way, then it's going to be authentic, to show you understand. And not only that you understand, but that you come from an authoritative place when you're talking about the solution. So when you propose, this is the product that you're selling, this is how we're going to solve the problem, they trust you. The other thing you can do here is to use social proof. And social proof is when you use something like a customer testimonial or reviews, anything where similar people to the customers that you want to reach have left some comment or engaged with you in some way that you can share, because people really trust the opinions of others, especially when they know that they've got a similar situation, similar pain points that they're trying to solve. So definitely try adding a testimonial or a review or something like that can help here. This is an example from an insurance company. So it's not B2B, but it is a really classic example of this story arc. You might have seen this on TV before, but I think it's a really funny and enjoyable version of this story. So I'm just going to play it and see what you think.
My name is Garth and I'm 44 years old. I work in customer service. That fills you with a lot of frustrations. It's always great to find something that helps you emotionally, and that's what I found. Metal calms me down. It's not his cup of tea.
Not really my cup of tea.
But sometimes it's good to just vent.
There are so many ways we can live better. Search Medibank Live Better to find yours.
There you go. So it's a great example because it introduces this character that everyone can connect with, very likable, and talks quickly about the problems that they face when they feel frustrated at work, which we can all relate to once again. And then it talks about the solution, which in this case is looking after yourself and doing the things that help you unwind. Now, Medibank is an insurance company. Insurance is a little bit of an abstract concept to try and sell, but they sort of attach themselves to that, doing what you love, doing what helps you unwind, whatever that is, and they sort of stick themselves in there as part of the solution. So yeah, really great example. I hope you enjoyed that. Finally, I want to wrap up my little section before I go into the demo with some common video mistakes that beginners do sometimes make. And it's easy to fall into these traps, but if you're conscious of these things, then you'll be much more successful when you're creating videos. So the first is having videos that are too long with too much info. So Anna mentioned this before, is that our viewers' attention spans these days are really short. The thing to remember here is that we're not Spielberg, we're not trying to win an Oscar, right? You just need to be short, snappy, and to the point. Keep your message focused. And creating a storyboard will help a lot with that, to plan out what you want to say and not go overboard. The other thing here is to remember that video is just one opportunity that you have to communicate with your customers, and there'll be more. So if you want them to get in touch, subscribe to an email newsletter, whatever it is, they can go and do that. They don't have to hear every single thing about your product in one video. Next thing is not having a clear call to action. So this really starts at the very beginning when you put your storyboard together. You want to know from that early stage what action your viewer is going to take, or what action you want them to take. And you base the whole video around that, and it'll be really impactful and effective. So think about that. What is it? Do you want them to buy something? Do you want them to sign up for a trial? Do you want them to reach out for a consulting session? Start with that, and your video will be effective. Not branding your video. So of course, branding is all about getting the right colors and the fonts and the logos in there. But video also is a very powerful communication platform. And if you know your brand, then you're going to know how it would talk as if it was a person. So the sort of language that you should be using, even the sort of imagery and animation styles. If you know your brand, then you'll be able to create an on-brand video. And you don't want to have a video that doesn't feel like an extension of your brand. The next thing is focusing too much on the product and not enough on the target audience. So I just explained that you can have a story that works really well with the product as the central character, but remember that the product is not the viewer of the video. That's your target audience, right? So you've got to make sure that the video is something that they want to watch. It's not just describing your product. It's got to be forming an emotional connection with that audience. Not thinking about your destination. This is something that's become a little bit more complex in the last few years. There's so many different ways that you can share and publish your video. You do need to know that in advance. Are you going to put this on the website? Are you going to be sharing it on LinkedIn or Instagram? Are you going to be sending it directly to someone via email? This influences a few things. Firstly, there's technical decisions that need to be made, like aspect ratio. So that's the shape of your video. Is it square or landscape or portrait? If you know the destination, then you know some of those technical details. The other thing is just the way that people communicate on these platforms. So Instagram obviously is pretty relaxed and friendly, whereas LinkedIn's a bit more buttoned up, right? It's a bit more formal. So do think about that when you're creating your video. And the final thing is overselling. And this is something where video can be a really powerful platform to help sell your product, but it's not the place for a hard sales push, right? Or a really intense sales pitch. And the reason I think is because video is not a dialogue. You need to leave enough space for the viewer to imagine themselves using your product or finding your solution. You don't have to push and push and push on selling it. There'll be other opportunities for that. It's not a dialogue, so the viewer can't tell you their specific problems that you can address. So do give them the space, and don't oversell. Cool. So that's all the mistakes that I wanted to share. And I wanted to show a quick example, jumping back into Clipchamp and putting that all together to create a video. We're going to, move pretty quickly through this by using a template, which helps a lot to speed things up. But all the steps will be there, so you can see roughly what it's like end to end. Cool. So hopefully you can see here, I'm in Clipchamp, and I'm going to start with a template, like I said. So to start off, I'm creating an Instagram ad for my wife's company, which sells drinks online. So we have this template library, and I'm going to choose Instagram. And you'll see there's a bunch of templates here, and they're all designed for Instagram. There's a mix of different aspect ratios. So square videos are great for the feed. So as the user's scrolling through the feed, they'll see these videos. And portrait videos are really good for stories and reels. But I want to create a feed ad, and I actually know that this template here is going to be really close to what I need. And this, if I click on this, it'll play through the structure of it. You can see watching this back that this is an example of the product being the hero of the story. So it's very, very simple, but what it does is it shows the product in a really good light. It has these visual elements that make you think, oh, this is fun, this is exciting, this is something that is going to bring joy to my life. And then towards the end here, we have this powerful call to action. So it's limited time only. It's creating a bit of FOMO in this template. Of course, I'm going to customize it to my needs. But it's got all those elements of a powerful storyboard for this sort of story that we want to tell. Now I'm going to click use this template and just show you how easy it is in Clipchamp to customize it. So firstly, all of the template assets will download, and I'll be able to play back the video as it is, but I want to add my own assets to make it mine for my products and with my brand. So I'm going to click plus and browse to get my files, and I have all these ones here that are already prepared just to make this super quick. And it's just going to pull those in straight away. So the first thing you can see in the timeline here, how Anna explained all these different visual assets, moving along with time. I can see the logos here. I'm going to replace those with my logos. That's the first step, right? Because obviously Matisse is just an example brand. Cool. And then if I scroll down a bit, you can see these tracks here that have the product images. So I'm going to, it says replace me in the template. So I'm going to replace these with my own product images. So I've got this one and this one and one more. Great. So it's pretty close already, but I'm thinking that the colors, the default colors in this video don't quite suit my brand, right? They have the right vibe, but the colors might need a bit of tweaking. So let me see if I go back to the beginning, this shape here, maybe the green doesn't work for that one. So I'm going to go to stock images. And I know we have some other colors of these. So I might pull in the blue to replace there. And then maybe this red one further along here in the corner, abstract coral shape. Maybe we'll find a new one. Of course, I could go much further with this. I could rearrange them. I could pull in different assets and things like that. But for now, I'm just going to do a quick replace just to make it a little bit more on brand with my brand colors. That's looking a bit better. So I'm just quickly scrubbing through here, not playing back the whole video because I already watched the template. The final thing is this call to action. So limited time only. That's a really good one because it's got FOMO. But for my specific case, I'm going to have 10% off and while stocks last. Just rearrange that text slightly. does that look? That's perfect. Cool. And now I think that's close enough. Obviously, there's a lot more I could do here if I wanted, but let's export it and see how it's looking. So let's call this, well, I mean, close enough, but let's just call it Instagram ad. And 720p is good for social media. That's the size or the quality of the video. And then quality is great because I'm going to be uploading it to Instagram. So I want to make sure it looks good on everyone's phone screens. And it's exporting. And now it's saved. And we'll just play that back. Here we go. Hopefully you can still see that. It's got the nice music in the background. Perfect. Cool. So I think that pretty much sums us up for the demo. And I might stop sharing my screen so we can maybe do Q&A. There we go. So if you do have questions, please put them in the Q&A box down the bottom right. Anna, should we jump in and start answering some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I've answered a bunch of questions along with Tori, one of our co-workers, but there are two really interesting questions that's came in since then. So what are the reasons to or not to use 1080p for social media instead of 720p as Jack just used?
That's a really good question. 720p is enough in some cases. Here I could show it because the quality exports a bit faster. But these social platforms are always going to downscale and compress your videos anyway. They do their own processing because they want to keep file sizes small and performance really good for mobile phones. So you can just go for 1080p, which is a good max resolution, and let Instagram, for example, figure that out. The question of quality does become a bit more important when you're doing your own publishing. So if you're not going to social media, or maybe you're sending it via email, then you want to make sure you keep it under the attachment file size. Then 720p might be a good balance between file size and quality. Another thing around resolution is if you're doing screen capture, then I definitely recommend pushing up to 1080p because then the viewer can see all the details of the screen. But yeah, in general, 1080p is a good starting point, and social media platforms will downscale if they want to give better performance.
The next question is, to what extent is using a service like Clipchamp allowing us to do all the video editing versus the need to hire a professional editor? If we choose to hire a video editor, do those we hire using Fiverr or those freelancer services all producing a similar quality, or would hiring a more expensive expensive video editor possibly be worth spending money on? I can try and answer this one, and maybe Jackie can jump in. So I think you get what you're paying for a lot of the times with experience. Not saying there aren't outliers. Obviously, with the benefit of hiring is that it's completely outsourced to someone else. The downside of it is obviously the turnaround time, and you still have to be involved in providing feedback and letting them know, like giving them a brief and letting them know what your requirements are and what your needs are, versus, using something like Clipchamp, which is super easy, basically has almost no learning curve. The second you get the hang of it, you can make changes and adjustments to your heart's content, and you wouldn't need to talk to someone and going back and forth with emails. I would say that for almost any sort of business use cases today, you would be able to make those type of videos in Clipchamp. The type of use cases I can think of that Clipchamp probably wouldn't be able to support are if you wanted, like, for example, really complicated 3D animation. We don't really support that today. If you really wanted complicated motion effects, we don't support that either. Or if you're looking to make, for example, a feature-length film, we definitely don't support that. Anything more than 30 minutes worth of video creation, I would recommend that you actually outsource that to a professional who knows what they're doing instead. But otherwise, there's really no reason for you to not give it a go yourself. and save yourself a lot of time and money, to be completely honest.
Yeah, definitely echoing the time. So these days, trends online move so quickly, or customers require responses so quickly, and video can be a great way to sort of do that customer interaction. But if you are relying on a third party or even an in-house creative team, that can really add delays. Sometimes being fast is better than being the best possible outcome, the best possible quality. And another thing to say is that with Clipchamp, it's designed for teams to use. So you can create a template once and then have people reuse it. And that sort of saves time for everyone, right? That's not just yourself, but it's sort of making sure that the team is self-sufficient. There's always cases, I think, when you might want to splurge and go big. If you do have a Super Bowl spot, of course, you're not going to be using Clipchamp, but for a lot of videos, definitely you could use a platform like that, and the time and the ability to do it yourself is really, really valuable.
We've got another interesting question. I'd imagine there are video editors that use your software and charge us to do the same things with their time instead of ours. This is actually true. So we've actually got a couple of small marketing agencies that uses our video templates. They make good money selling our video templates and customizing them for their customers. So yes, it does happen, and I guess like both parties are happy when that happens, but there's nothing stopping the businesses from doing this yourself directly as well. We've got a question from Michael. Our video slows down our site. Is there a way around this? So that's probably a really great question for maybe a website developer. Do you know the answer to this, Jack?
So platforms like YouTube are really good at optimizing the delivery of a video. You can also embed video files directly onto your website these days using HTML5 video component, basically, and that might lead to some issues because it always has to download the full video file to do that. Whereas if you use something like YouTube, or even we offer what we call a share link or share page, which is where you can publish a video from Clipchamp directly. They're all optimized for streaming, which means it can start playing immediately as soon as the user hits the site, and it grabs the fastest stream. So if the user's connection's quick, then it gives you high quality. If it's not so fast, it gives you lower quality. But it's all about performance for streaming. So that can be a good way to go if you need to reduce the load. Try using YouTube or something else that'll handle that sort of streaming rather than just downloading the video.
Awesome. How is Clipchamp different to Imovie? I think if you look at the fundamental tools, like sort of if you're just looking for something to cut some clips with, there's not a huge amount of difference, but we do have millions of stock assets within our platform. We've got a lot of motion titles that's all pre-created, so you don't actually have to go in and do that yourself. Imovie don't have any of that. We also have hundreds and thousands of templates that you can actually use if you're looking to create, social ads. So you can just go in, change the logo, change some of the wording, and all of a sudden you've got a beautiful ad that's ready to go. So I guess those are the type of value adds that we have instead of Imovie. Also, this is quite subjective, but most of our customers have actually switched away from the likes of Imovie and Adobe because they find us a lot more intuitive and easier to use. But then again, I work for Clipchamp and I look after the product, so I think I'm a little bit biased. Next question. You just mentioned that the teams can use a set of templates, which is good because you can get consistency with your branding. Can users upload their professional design templates to their Clipchamp account for their sole use? That is an amazing question. This is something that I can reveal. So we are currently working on this right now, and you'll probably see this launching over the next couple of months. So yes, we've got a Teams functionality. So if you've got a team of people within your business that want to jump onto Clipchamp, you can actually have them all joining in. And if you have your own template that's branded, then over the next few months, you'd be able to do that as well. There's a question around a good list of equipment for a total beginner looking to make educational video tutorials. Cheaper options, please. Yes. So maybe what we can do is we can send out some of the materials that was included, and maybe a list of different options for you down the track.
I spent about $30 or $35 on a microphone and a light, and of course it's not professional. I don't look like a fancy YouTuber with millions of subscribers, but it's a little bit better, and that helps. But the other thing I would say here is that good content will always win. So if you think about the setup and get the best you can, and then focus on creating good content, and over time people will engage with it, and you can invest in higher quality gear and increase the quality over time. But don't let this be a blocker for you, is what I want to say. So having a little bit of budget to spend on this is great, but don't let it slow you down. If you really can't afford anything right now, just use what you've got, and yeah, build it up over time and improve the quality over time. As long as you're creating good content, I think that's the most important thing.
Can we absolutely be certain that using of your stock assets, millions of assets that you're referring to for our production won't become an issue for us for YouTube channel podcasts used for an intellectual property perspective? Yes, absolutely. So all of the assets that we're providing you is in partnership with our stock provider called Storyblocks, and they're all completely royalty free. So yes, you can use them to your heart's content. Some of them are actually free, available on the free tier, but some of them are available on the premium tier when you subscribe, which all of you will get access to for a month worth of trial. Was there more questions that we haven't answered yet, Jack?
That looks pretty much like everything. Yeah, there's one in the chat, I think. Thank you for the tips. Is there any alternative to Clipchamp for no subscription option, but with templates? We do have a free plan tier available, which does have templates included. So you can use those templates, and some of the stock assets available within those are for premium subscribers. But if you're replacing them with your own content, then it's fine. It's all available on the free plan. The free plan is limited to SD resolution export. So if you want high quality video, then you do upgrade to a premium subscription, but it's a really good way to get started, and you can access all those templates. Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're about to run out of time, so let's hand it back to Cleo now.
Thank you so much, Jack and Anna from Clipchamp, for presenting today's session. So I'm just going to share my screen once more. So there they are again from Clipchamp, the head of product and product manager. And thanks again to everyone for joining us for this session. I hope you got a lot out of it. I certainly did. I did post in the chat already the feedback link, so we want to hear from you. If you love this session, if you want to see more from Clipchamp, or if you want to see more about video content, we'd love to hear that. So please do take a moment to fill in that link. And lastly, so this was a part of the Lightbulbs launch series. So we're in the second week now of all our events and workshops. So if you want to head to the website there, ga.co or learn.generalassembly/ga.co, yes, you'll see the whole lineup there. And if you want to see what else GA is up to, so Anna did show you a preview of that on her demo. So head to the website ga.co, and any questions, our email link is there. But thanks again to everyone. Hope you enjoyed the session, and we'll see you again soon at another one. Thanks again, and bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya. Bye.